So to show my age as Gen X and the fact that I am in Discord, I'm going to reference an old meme. I, for one, welcome our Gen Z and Alpha overlords. I can't wait to see what they do to the workplace. Now, when I'm at a conference, seminar, session, training, take your pick, there's one thing that annoys me, is there's always a lot of great information. There's always so much great information, y'all. But how do I use it is usually something that they don't always tell us. How do I mean, really use it in my day job? So let's talk about something important here, practical application. As mentioned during our opening, we hope you'll all think beyond today. We think that you can create an action plan for yourself, your teams, or even your organizations as a whole. And I recommend, referencing the incredible resources that we've put together today on the Trans Summit site and the zine. Now, as Jamie discussed in the Trans Plus 101, the Trans Plus umbrella is expansive. Being an ally is essential to creating an inclusive environment for some actionable steps you can take. Like, it's okay to go and be helpful to interrupt non-inclusive behavior. Please do. This goes for any group. Don't be the Bob. Sorry, Bob. But also, be mindful of the words that you choose. Like, there's so many times that I've caught myself misgendering someone. I'm part of the community, y'all. So it can happen. Just be mindful of your words and model kind behavior when you do make a mistake, including yourself. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace, too. Mistakes are going to happen. Own it and move on. Now, also with that, take advantage of the moments to teach and learn. This is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of folks. You heard me ask Steve, how do you do that? It takes courage. But you're here today. You're watching us on a recording maybe, but that means you're interested in learning. It means you're interested in teaching. So take that opportunity. You have the courage. You showed up. And that means something to everyone here. And as always, be respectful. Again, think about your words. Use your words. Now, Steve also told us that we're all leaders, and we do believe that here at Intuit. Regardless of your role, regardless of your title, which means we all have an obligation to support our own growth and development. This is not new to anyone who's been at Intuit for any longer than like 6 months. You've probably seen something in one of our channels, y'all. So you don't have to have the title of manager. You don't have to be a people leader to be a leader. Case in point. Now, keep in mind the importance of being authentic. That's the one thing that I always get feedback on is you're so authentic. You're so true to yourself. We'll see about that. But it is part of my brand. It is part of that. But figure out who you are. Figure out what your identity that you are in the workplace is and stay true to that no matter what. Lead with empathy. There's a lot going on in the world today. It's hard to say that it isn't. Anyone who's saying otherwise, I question their media access. So when you're talking with people, think about where they are, but be empathetic to who that person is. And then communicate for your own growth. Like, say what you want. We literally just heard that in the last panel. They are going to tell us what they want. You can do the same. I express to my leader all the time, this is what I want to do for my next couple of years. This is what I want to do after that. It took my last leader about 5 years to get me to get to that point. So that's a journey unto itself. So don't sweat it if you're not there today. And for those people leaders that are listening today, the ones who actually already have the responsibility, you do have a responsibility to support your Trans Plus employees as you do every other employee. I cannot mince words here, y'all. You have a responsibility. You are leading people. You are the one who they look to. You are the one who has a literal job to see people grow. There are plenty of individual contributor roles out there. But if you're a people leader, no matter what other job responsibilities you have in your title, the people come first. Now, I'm not saying you treat them different. I'm not saying you treat them better. But you do have to acknowledge them and treat them where they are. And remember that you have to acknowledge that each employee needs to grow. And let's be honest, we want them to thrive. What's that Intuit saying? Power prosperity? That also includes inside the house, y'all. And really, if you're in a people leader role, it's what you should want. Now, as noted in Eli's panel, 30% of Gen Z adults in the US identify as LGBTQ+. 30%. Intuit's population right now, I think, is 17,000. Now imagine 30% of that being part of this community. Better yet, for all our sports fans out there, picture the Super Bowl. We just had that. Picture a Taylor Swift concert. Okay, that one might be higher than 30%. Think about those stadiums as they're filled, and think about what 30% of that looks like. The world's changing, and they are going to demand a better world. And they have a different expectation of businesses. We heard that. They want us to acknowledge that they have value, and they are aware of their value. I'd say that's probably the number one lesson the pandemic taught them, and everyone else's. This is what my life, my choices mean to me. This is what my work means to me. So regardless of your identity, regardless of where you are, think about that. And it is important to be a guide, to have strong allyship. I like to, going back to a little earlier, I like to say I tank a lot. I can't count the number of days that I've needed to lay down that shield or lay down that armor. And I've been very lucky. I've got a Mark. I've got a Meredith. I've got a Lore. I've got an Erica. I've got an Atticus. I've got a tech team back here that all keep it so I don't have to tank in that particular moment. So think about when you have the opportunity to be that ally that your tank needs. And if you are the tank, you don't have to tank alone. For my gamers, you're not going into a raid on a tank alone. You have DPS, you have support, okay? And I would say one other lesson here. When I was a people leader, I wasn't ready for it. I've learned a lot since then. It's not my particular passion. I do love leading, though. But one thing I did, and I think I'm proud of, is I forbade my team from ever saying, well, that's the way we always done it. Challenge the status quo. Ask the question. Now, maybe the way we've always done it is the right way because of X, Y, and Z. But if you don't know that, ask the question. Things don't have to be done the way they always have. Now, these next generations are our future leaders. It's not too long from where we're going to see a Gen Z CEO of a Fortune 500. There might actually already be one, I don't know. I hope there's not a Gen Alpha, they're only like 14. But But that's not far off either. They're going to be the leaders. So you helping them enter the workforce. I'm going to go back to something, we were all told as kids in Gen X. What kind of world do you want to leave behind? What kind of business world do you want them to inherit and them to lead? You have the opportunity to change that. We all sit and talk about the things that we don't like in the world. I got an entire generation there ready to change that. Give them the opportunity. And with that, I'm actually running a little short here. But this is our 5th Trans Summit, y'all. And we came out of last year talking about intersectionality. And that hasn't changed. But literally, the next day, we came up with this concept. This is what we knew we needed to do. And I stand by the work that this team has done, because Gen Z, Gen Alpha are our future. We have watched this year evolve the way it has, and this year is going to be a very interesting one. And I love watching how they are changing it already. I love watching the demands they're making. I love the memes that I'm seeing in my Discord servers. I looked at David. And it thrills me every day. And I'm a natural pessimist. For anyone that knows me, I am a natural pessimist. I look for the worst, I expect the worst, so I can always be surprised. Far too often I'm not. Except with Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and a lot of our younger millennials. Yes, someone's going to talk positive about millennials, so don't don't panic. No. I love that they're asking questions. I love that they are changing how businesses look and how they do business. I love how they are demanding rights. I love the change that they're making to say, I need mental health days. I love the ability to say, I need to take care of myself. I need to have work-life balance. We all talk that one very well. Now, I'm going to just kind of tease my room here a little bit and go, now, how many of us worked more than 40 hours last week? No, I want to see the hands. Let's go. How many of us already worked 40 hours this week? Just look to my team. That's not work-life balance. But they demand it. They know what they want, and I think that is a wonderful, wonderful thing for the future, because we have grown up in cultures that have been out of balance on so many topics. And inclusion is one of them. Self-care is another. And I think we will find, if we are accepting of that new talent, if we're accepting of their demands and we learn to change with them, we'll find our own lives getting a little better in it. And I know I'm getting a little off the T plus topic, but this is so much wider. Like today, yes, we're about the T and everything under that umbrella. But when you look at the struggles that we face, they're not hugely different from the struggles some other underrepresented group faces. I was having a conversation last night where I got to talk about the fact that one of our closest partners in the Pride ERG is the Intuit Women's Network. Literally, they just wrapped an amazing month of activity. And they went, so how can we help you for Pride Month? Like, they're still in the month, and they're going, how can we help you? And the same can be said in reverse. We can be allies to each other. Correction. We need to be allies to each other. We need to look for the opportunities to uplift each other as leaders, as future leaders. You know, we were at dinner last night, and I was looking at two of the people I'm having dinner with, and I'm going, I love everything that you are saying. How can I add you to my leadership team? Because I believe in what they offer. So I want you to look at the people that are on your teams, your leadership teams, your direct reports, in your organizations, and go, how can I lift your voice?